Good morning, students. Today I discussed about a topic air pollution. Introduction to air pollution. First, description of air pollution. Air pollution may be defined as presence in the atmosphere of substances added directly or indirectly in such concentration and of such duration as to affect or try to affect receptors like humans, animals, vegetation, etc. adversely, generally by an anthropographic activities. Now, explanation of atmosphere. What is the atmosphere? It may be considered as a transport component that moves substances from the source to the receptor. Its storage capacity is small compared to other sphere. When we are talking about air or atmosphere, we are generally talking about 1 to 2 kilometer height of the whole atmosphere. Most of the air pollution problem are related with this layer, but there are few problems which are not confined only in other layer. Next is criteria air pollutant. What is criteria air pollutant? Criteria air pollutants are those which are regulated and are used as indicators of air quality, and those which are related to health and environmental effects, which are measurable and which are included in NAAQS. Now, what is NAAQS? The full form of NAAQS is National Ambient Air Quality Standards. It first published in 1994 and first is revision is 1996. Next, we discussed about some air pollutant. First, carbon monoxide. Why carbon monoxide is a criteria air pollutant but CO2 is not? CO2 is harmful at concentration of 5000 ppm. Its present concentration is 400 ppm. Before industrialization, its concentration was 250 ppm. So it took nearly 250 years to reach a concentration level of 400 ppm from 250 ppm. It will take many years to reach the harmful concentration of 5000 ppm to affect human health. Moreover, catalytic converters are used where CO is oxidized to CO2. Next, what are the health effects of carbon monoxide? Uh, it is the reduction of O2 carrying capacity in blood. Carboxyhemoglobin are formed which have 250 times more affinity towards CO than oxygen. So, instead of taking oxygen through cell, blood carries carbon monoxide. The first symptom is headache as it affects the brain. Next, oxides of nitrogen. Both NO and NO2 are important pollutants. If source monitoring is done, it is seen that more than 90% of NOx is NO. But if ambient air monitoring is performed, it is seen that more than 90% of NOx is NO2. There are various type of NO, that is fuel NO and thermal NO. Now what is fuel NO? Nitrogens come from protein of the decomposed plant and animal which have fossilized to form fuel. NO produced from this is popularly known as fuel NO. And thermal NO, what is thermal NO? Atmospheric reaction between N2 and O2 forms thermal NO at a high temperature of about 1400 degrees Celsius. It is known as peak flame temperature. And next is indirect effect of NO2, that is formation of photochemical smoke and formation of nitric acid, which ultimately lead to acid rain or acidic decomposition. Next is sulfur dioxide. We are not monitoring other oxides of SOx, as other oxides of sulfur are not present in environment in sufficient concentrations, and also they are very unstable. Okay. SO2 is colorless but has a light pungent smell. NO2 is the only colored gaseous pollutant, as SO2 is the second most soluble in the water after NH3. It is very important part. Next is particulate matter. What is particulate? The full short form of particulate matter is PM, and in the particulate matter there are basically two type, that is PM 2.5 and PM 10. And it has a aerodynamic diameter. It is an equivalent diameter, and aerodynamic diameter of an irregularly shaped particle is defined as the diameter of a spherical particle with unit density that has the same settling velocity as the irregular particle in questions. Next, aerosol. An aerosol is defined as a suspension of solid and or liquid particles in a gas. It includes both the particles and the gas. A primary aerosol has particles that are introduced directly into the air, and secondary aerosol are formed when gas to particle conversion occur. Next, dust. Small solid particle created by the breakup of large mass through crushing, grinding, etc. Dust may come directly into the atmosphere from the processing and handling of materials such as coal, cement, stone chip, grain, etc. Main problem associated with dust is there is no point source, so we cannot control it very easily. So and next, smoke. Smoke is the fine gas, brown solid particle resulting from incomplete combustion of fossil fuel consisting predominantly carbon and other fuel. It does not include water vapor. Next part is lead. Main part of lead is it is basically formed by engine, mainly two types of engine, that is EC engine and IC engine. The full form of EC is external combustion and IC means internal combustion. Okay, size of in the external in EC engine, size of engine is bigger as combustion does not occur at the place where energy is required, and in the internal combustion at the place where energy and power is required. Next is ozone. We generally find the ozone gas in our atmosphere in two layers, that is tropospheric ozone and another is stratospheric ozone. Tropospheric ozone is 10% of total ozone gas and also known as the ground level ozone, and it is a criteria air pollutant. But in stratospheric ozone there are rest, that means 90% of the total ozone, and it is not a pollutant, rather it acts as a protective shield of to protect us from other harmful material like UV rays. That's it, and next class I will discuss more. Okay, thank you.